When soldiers return home, we assume their battles are over, but for many, a new war begins, one fought in silence in their own minds. Veteran suicide in the UK is a crisis long hidden in the shadows, with no official records kept for years. This failure left families grieving in silence, their loved ones' struggles invisible. The transition from military to civilian life can be isolating and overwhelming, stripping away camaraderie and purpose. Before we can fix this, we must finally face the truth. Our veterans need us now more than ever. When the government failed to count veteran suicides, a silent crisis grew in the shadows. The true toll of war was hidden, unspoken, and ignored by those in power. Families grieved in isolation, and the nation remained unaware of the scale of loss among its heroes. Jim Wild, a UK military veteran, refused to let this tragedy remain invisible. Haunted by the loss of his comrades and the lack of official recognition, he took action. He began painstakingly documenting every reported case, gathering names, stories, and details. Jim created a roll of honor that forced the nation to confront the crisis head-on, refusing to let these lives be forgotten. His data revealed a devastating reality. On average, a UK veteran dies by suicide every 5 to 7 days. The numbers were more than statistics, they were a call to action. Jim's grassroots effort became a rallying point for veterans and their families, exposing official inaction and fueling urgent calls for change across the country. Campaigners and advocates used his findings to demand accountability from leaders and push for real solutions to support those who served. Thanks to Jim and others who refused to stay silent, the government could no longer ignore the problem. The silence began to break, and the conversation finally started. Jim wasn't just counting the dead, he was fighting for the living, determined to bring hope and change for future generations of UK veterans. In April 2024, the government finally released official data on veteran suicides. The numbers were stark. Male veterans aged 25, 34 had a suicide rate more than double that of civilian men. Young veterans, especially those who served less than 10 years, faced the highest risk, 2 to 4 times higher than their peers. Surprisingly, those deployed to conflict zones were at lower risk, highlighting the struggle of adapting to civilian life. For the first time, the crisis was undeniable and measurable. Now, support can be targeted to those most at risk. Knowledge is power and a chance to save lives. Around the world, countries are grappling with the challenge of veteran suicide, but some, like the US, have taken a notably proactive approach. By learning from their successes and setbacks, we can better understand what works and what doesn't when it comes to supporting those who have served. The US Department of Veterans Affairs has pioneered the ReachVet system, which harnesses advanced technology and data analysis to identify veterans at risk of suicide before a crisis occurs. This system allows healthcare teams to intervene early, offering support and resources when they're needed most. In the UK, new initiatives like OpCourage are making specialist mental health support more accessible to veterans. However, these programs often depend on veterans taking the first step and reaching out for help themselves, which can be a significant barrier for many. Charities such as the Samaritans provide a vital safety net, offering someone to talk to in moments of crisis. Yet, while these services are essential, they can't address every need on their own. The real challenge lies in shifting from a reactive system to one that is truly preventative. Spotting signs of risk early and ensuring that information is shared seamlessly between the NHS and the Ministry of Defence so no one falls through the cracks. Investing in modern technology and creating joined-up services across agencies is absolutely crucial if we want to make a lasting difference for veterans and their families. But despite the clear need and the tireless efforts of people like Jim, who work to gather and publicise the statistics on veteran suicide, the UK government has not taken meaningful action to address the suicide rate among veterans. The numbers are out there, the stories are known, yet the response has been silence. The time for passive support is over. It's time to take bold, coordinated action, because our veterans deserve nothing less. The government's new suicide prevention strategy marks a significant step forward, signaling a renewed commitment to tackling this urgent issue. However, real and lasting change demands more than just promises on paper or well-meaning intentions. It requires action, accountability, and a willingness to listen to those most affected. We must ensure that every veteran's transition to civilian life is fully supported, restoring not only their sense of identity, but also rebuilding community connections and a renewed sense of purpose. This support must be practical, ongoing, and tailored to individual needs. As a society, we must break the stigma surrounding mental health, especially for those who have served. Understanding the unique challenges veterans face is essential to providing the right help at the right time. Services like Op Courage are vital lifelines, but they need proper funding, resources, and coordination to truly make a difference. No veteran should ever be left behind or feel abandoned by the system they once served. Early intervention is absolutely key. Catching those at risk before despair takes hold can save lives. Proactive outreach and compassionate support can make all the difference. Ending this crisis is not just a policy goal. It is a debt of honor we owe to those who have served our country with courage and sacrifice. The truth is out. The facts are clear. Now, as a nation, we must act with urgency and compassion. Our mission is simple but profound: to ensure that no veteran ever has to fight their battles alone again. Together, we can build a future where hope replaces despair.